a big her cousin, The Rock, legit cousins, by the way. That's one of the main reasons why she's there. So she's gotten a big which endorsement, so to speak. That's a word I'm looking for, from The Rock, who WWE obviously wants to stay on good terms with for the remainder of their, both of their, I'm going to say Rock's career forever probably. But so yeah, Nia's got the pedigree there. She's a big girl and arguably towers over most of the roster outside of maybe a couple of them. And yeah, it's a mountain that Ronda has to climb. It makes Ronda an underdog, considering that Nia's twice her size, even though we know who Ronda is, credential-wise from UFC. But yeah, Asuka was at the end, so I'm a fan of putting Asuka back into the spot she was before she was defeated by Charlotte. And it's hard to do considering as many losses she keeps taking. But probably for business-wise, this was the right move, probably.
I thought it was Carmella was the one that ultimately was ultimately the one that dethroned Asuka. Wasn't it?
Charlotte.
It was Charlotte? Okay.
Yeah, Charlotte at WrestleMania.
Oh, yeah. No, you're right. And then she had that awful program with Carmella, which she lost, which
she's lost so many times now. You forget about that streak she had. So when you put all that investment into building one character up, even though eventually they have to lose, and then you have them lose all the time after that, well, then what was the point of doing that to begin with?
Yeah.
So it was just silly.
Goldberg racked up 183 victories in WCW, then lost, and then he racked up another 70 or something before he lost again.
Yeah. I mean, that kept him strong. I mean, that arguably lasted his whole career. So you want to say they always remember this guy is strong. Well, when you have Asuka lose almost as many times as she won the following year after she had built up that streak, well, then you've undid everything that you just built. So, I mean, I understand the machine can make or break whoever they're going to choose to do, but the fans have long memories, even if Vince McMahon doesn't think they do, or him himself, he doesn't. The fans do. So when you're trying to build and create superstars, you got to be really careful that, perception, becomes reality in the fans' eyes. So when they're looking at somebody and they're doing the job, quote unquote, so to speak, so many times, it's tough to build up that credibility, even if we all know it's, this is character entertainment. But in the same token, the fans they took them a long time to even undo the thought that Jinder Mahal could be a world champion material. And even then, afterwards, they threw him right back down into the pile. And I think he's as low as he's ever been since he came back. And I'm like, you spent all this time to try to undo 3MB and Jinder Mahal from their memories. They actually did a good job building the guy back up, and then you got to keep him strong. But instead, it's like they said, this is a failed experiment. Throw him back down at the bottom of the pile. And I just don't see how you make money that way when you knock the guy completely all the way down to the bottom again instead of still trying to keep him strong.
Yeah, the Jinder Mahal story is quite frankly, it's heartbreaking in my opinion. That guy he completely changed his body. He worked harder than anybody else on the roster. He really was like, I'm going to be the corporate machine that these guys want me to be. He completely changed his entire physique. The dude looked like a monster. And he did everything the WWE wants you to do. You want to be successful, you got to go from A to B to C to D. And he did all of that stuff. They built him up. He finally became the champion. He obviously wasn't a draw during his reign. The fans, they had some of the lowest, live audience ratings when he was there, which Vince McMahon's like, nope, I'm pulling the plug. I'm losing money on this guy. But to just completely bury him, it's like, okay, maybe the world title was too much, but what about a U.S. title or an Intercontinental title or a few number one contender spots? Still keep him in the mid-card / main event spotlight. Don't completely shove the guy back down to pre-match only, But anyways, I digress.
So we lead in after Nia's victory here. We lead into a strict singles match here between Intercontinental Champion Seth Rollins and United States Champion Shinsuke Nakamura. And that's right up there with one of my favorite matches of the night. This was a highly contested back and forth contest, and these guys laid it all on the line. I'd say once the Brock Daniel Bryan, as we'll discuss later, gets going, this one's right up there with it. And if there was a finish to Charlotte and Ronda, I'd say that one be right there with the definite top three of the night for me.
Yeah, this match was fantastic. You have two of the best two of arguably the best in the world. You have Seth Rollins, Shinsuke Nakamura. What bothered me about this match was nothing from the performers, but the announcers. The announcers were telling the story of Seth Rollins is so distracted because Dean Ambrose betrayed him, and how could he, focus on this match with Shinsuke Nakamura, yet Rollins still comes out with the victory, and Shinsuke continues his losing streak. It made no sense to me.
Yeah, excellent point. Because that would have given you an excuse for Seth to be off his game and have SmackDown and Shinsuke pick up the win.
Exactly. A much needed win for Shinsuke. I mean, ever since his losing streak to AJ Styles, which seems to be a trend with opponents that face AJ, he just hasn't really done anything, and he needed a big victory, and this was that big victory. And unfortunately, the Riders kind of pulled the rug out from under him and still gave the victory to Rollins for what I hope we'll see in future shows, the rationale behind giving Raw the clean sweep.
Yeah, well, the story's still got to play out on that one. But yeah, excellent match, definitely. If you haven't seen Survivor Series, if you're going to watch 3 matches or if you're going to watch only one match, you could do a lot worse than watching this one, because this one was a great match between two of the best in the world, for sure, no doubt.
Definitely hope to see a rematch between these two in the future.
Yeah, stay health-wise permitting, for sure. I think we will. We got a tag team match coming up next. AOP, who recently won the tag team titles with that Ambrose and Rollins split with their manager Drake Maverick, faced the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus, with their friend, I guess, because he's not technically part of the Bar, Big Show. And this match is kind of forgettable, more notably for the interference from Drake Maverick, leading to Big Show grabbing him and him pissing himself, which then distracted the Bar, who got take the loss to AOP in this one, which was very surprising. What do you think of this finish, Rock? Definitely don't hold back.
This match was trash, start to finish. AOP, big monsters, very definitely Vince characters, hands down. I really like their original manager. I don't know what happened to him. Yeah. I don't know what happened to him, but then they put him with this new guy, with Drake Maverick, and the ending was just stupid. The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, for the last 2 years, they have really established themselves as a tag team. I'm a huge Cesaro mark, I'll admit it. I wish that we could see a main event push for Cesaro. Sheamus has had his main event push, and these two are just, in my opinion, some of the best, most solid WWE competitors. They've really established themselves as a tag team, and for them to more or less lose by a distraction from Drake Maverick pissing himself was just dumb.
Just even you saying that. Just even you saying that just sounds ridiculous. That was poorly written. Just toilet humor joke. Definitely.
Just not even done well. I mean, we've had toilet humor work in the business before. D-Generation X they were the kings of toilet humor. It was hilarious. It worked good in their matches. Gosh, I'll even throw the New Day some toilet humor. They've done a pretty good job incorporating it, but this was just bad. It wasn't even entertaining.
Vince loves the New Day for that. I think this was a crack up Vince moment, and these yes men probably were cackling along with him, but somebody should have told Vince, this is really stupid. Don't do this. But unfortunately, he did.
How can you have toilet humor with Akem and Razor, just these monster powerhouse angry dudes, and then you just have this little midget guy who just pisses himself. Like, none of it makes sense.
They have such a cool name, the Authors of Pain, by a guy who would carry out the role Wall Street, used to manage LOD, Paul Ellering. And yeah, maybe he didn't have but a couple more years on the road left, but according to everything we've heard He said he was willing to go on the road, but they didn't want him on the road. Just let the man manage his team. They built him in NXT as these monster authors of pain. It made sense. Doesn't really make sense now, so they changed it to just AOP. You don't even call them the authors of pain anymore. It's just really kind of goofy, the things they do. And this is one of them. Definitely.
Once again, you have a credible team of the Bar who's worked really, really hard to legitimize the tag team division, and they just lose in the worst fashion to a brand new team coming up. Yeah, I understand you got to build new talent. This is not the way to do that, though.
No, it should definitely be 2-1 SmackDown at this point, but unfortunately it's 3-0 Raw. And we have a non-branded match from 205 Live. Buddy Murphy, the champion, who's the real-life fiance of Alexa Bliss. And he's facing Mustafa Ali, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is a Chicago boy who can do some of those incredible things in the ring. And, yeah, this was a great match. Definitely up there, too. I feel their characters maybe need a lot more work. If you watch 205 Live, you know what they're doing there and the stuff. It's just this was definite high-octane performance. And Murphy, I give a lot of credit for redefining his career here as a 205 Live competitor, but I just think the 205 Live needs an injection of character, but they've kind of embraced that the brand is what it is, and these two guys are great athletes. I just think character-wise, they don't do much for me, which I'm more of a character-driven guy, but I like if you can get the characters with the performance, it'd be a lot better to have that complete package. But 205 Live, this was their match on the show, and it was a title match. Murphy defending it against Ali. What did you think of this match?
Here's the heat of the conversation on me. This was my favorite match of the entire show.
Yeah, interesting.
Absolutely,
it was a great match.
It was. So, and the reason why I say it was my favorite match is because you strip aside the crap writing of 205 Live, you strip aside Raw versus SmackDown, and you literally focus on just the two competitors. These two, in my opinion, had the cleanest, most entertaining match of the evening. Buddy Murphy is just, wow, this guy's on fire. My opinion, when it comes to pure wrestling, I will agree with you in the fact that he's got to do some character development. But in the ring, this dude is a master, and he has completely redefined his entire career ever since dropping down to 205 and jumping into the cruiserweight. I really feel like it seems to me like this guy really wants to make 205 something fun and something entertaining to watch. And this was, in my opinion, a poor placement of the card. This should have been earlier on in the night. They should maybe even the hot opener.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because the fans just did not seem into this match at all. And I'm not taking anything against Mustafa Ali. He really held his own. This match was an NXT New Japan style, high-paced, quality matchup. And unfortunately, just like you said, you know me, I'm a huge character-driven guy. I think I'm all about the storytelling, but that aside, this was my favorite match tonight.
They took some sick bumps in this match for sure. I got to give them a lot of credit. That was definitely that's up there, for sure, a quality match. I'm not Buddy Murphy just doesn't do anything for a marketable name. I did suggest he use Murphy's Law as a finisher, and I think it was on Twitter or something, and coincidentally he started using that name as a finisher, which was pretty cool. But other than that, the name just really doesn't spell long-term good branding. Buddy Murphy.
It's hard to be a badass if your name is Buddy.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Come on, buddy. Buddy Murphy, yeah. So, yeah, but to his credit, yeah, he reinvented himself for sure, and the guy is looks like $1 million. He's jacked, and I mean 205. Whether he's 205 or not, I mean that's been a subject of contention and stuff. But the guy is doing some incredible work, and they deserve their spot on the show, no doubt. But I think you're right. I believe if placed at the beginning of Survivor Series, it probably would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah. Also, Just really quick, I don't want to give this guy any more airtime than he needs, but this was the time Enzo tried to hijack the show. Thankfully, WWE security did a great job, took his ass